Welcome back to AM Northwest. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that causes the body's immune system to attack its own connective tissues and organs. 90% of those diagnosed with the disease are women, and most are under 45 years old. Here to share how they're working to raise awareness, we welcome from Molly's Fund, Kelly Coates, along with Serving Up style designer Jamie Buckowitz. Good to have you both with us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. First of all, tell me what lupus is exactly and how many people you see affected. And
you had a great description. Lupus is an autoimmune chronic illness that affects people, predominantly women kind of when they're in the prime of their lives. Also disproportionately affects women of color. So we see that people are just when they're starting to get into their careers and finishing college and trying to get themselves established, that's when they are struck with lupus. Generally takes up to 6 years to get diagnosed because the disease is so different from person to person. So it's the doctors trying to put together this mishmash of puzzle pieces and figure out what's going on.
What are some general symptoms?
General symptoms, it's mostly known for this characteristic rash across the face, looks like a butterfly. That's commonly one of the things that triggers a doctor to know that it could be lupus, but it can affect it affects people differently. So,
and what is Molly's Fund goal?
Our goal is to make it so that nobody feels alone when they fight this illness, that we want them to know that they have a place to be heard, a place to be understood, and that we then do work to go to, for example, Capitol Hill and talking to our legislators to make it so that lupus is better diagnosed, better understood, both by the medical community as well as the general public.
Because it's debilitating, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That it can affect different organ systems. And so for some folks it affects their kidneys, others it affects their lungs, and it can, when you have a lupus flare, it can knock you out for weeks.
Wow. Jamie, tell me about the Serving Up style.
Well, Serving Up style started 9 years ago, and it's a community coming together. So it's sponsors. This year we have Sterling Bay and KBS and Turner Construction. It's all the designers and then all the volunteers that make it happen. And these designers come together every year. They create these dining rooms. It draws people to come see them, and with that introduces them to Molly's Fund, and with that it builds awareness then and hopefully funding to support those living with lupus.
And the theme is Century of Style, right?
This year it's the Century of Style. We're in the historic Myron Frank building. It's been around since 1909, and so we're celebrating a century of style, and each designer got to pick their own decade to inspire their dining room.
So let's take a look at some of those. I know we've got a dining room from this is from, can you tell me which one this was from?
Oh, that's from 1910.
1910, okay.
That happens to be my dining room.
Oh.
And so I took inspiration 1910. The world was getting smaller. People were traveling from continent to continent. And my kicking off point was the 2 steamer lounge chairs. And then, of course, as the world is getting smaller, it's very important that you sit down and have an intimate meal.
Right. And this one, 1920s, right?
1920s. That's the Deco Speakeasy. Prohibition, the Roaring 20s. So on the other side of that orange wall is a
fun.
1950s, he took inspiration from pattern and color, but just modernized it a little bit, made it a little moodier.
And 1970s?
1970s, TV and the TV dinner.
Oh my goodness,
yes.
I had many of those.
Yes, yes.
And the 1980s?
1980s, he took inspiration from the Memphis movement, kind of quirky, silly type of design, but it was a very serious, well done type of movement.
And our last one, 1990s?
Grunge.
Oh, that's funny.
Grunge, done grown up, sophisticated.
How does going to view these living room setups, how does going to view those help Molly's Fund?
Well, it drives people. People go to see the windows.
Okay.
And then they see that it's for Molly's Fund Fighting Lupus, and they check out who we are, and it builds the awareness. And so it's the community coming together. It's the designers and the sponsors, the volunteers, but then also to the viewers. And so then what is Molly's Fund? They go to our website, mollysfund.org, and they check out who we are and what we do and how can they become involved. And there's so many different ways that you can do that.
And last year, how did it go?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
We were able to raise a lot of awareness through the windows, through people knowing about us, so that when you meet a friend that is diagnosed, to say, I actually know of a resource. I've heard of this organization, Molly's Fund, go check them out. Our award-winning blogs helps people to feel like they have the information that they need to better manage their disease.
That is fantastic. Well, we want to tell folks, if they'd like to find out more, you can check out Serving Up Style now through October 15th, Southwest 6th and Morrison, and it all benefits Molly's Fund Fighting Lupus. We'll put the information for you on our website at KATU.com. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.